I'm gonna change out the main drive belt on this thing. You have to drop certain pulleys down enough to get them past the guides, keep the belts from coming off. And kind of hard to video this with this, but I'm certainly not going to try to video it and work on it at the same time. I don't have any way to hold this camera. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Take the main drive belts off. Make sure I got the new belt is the right size. Make sure that's the right size, and then I'm going to put it back on. Get this all blowed out. Check the mower deck. Sharpen the blades. Get it ready. My daughter needs a lawnmower, and I have a lawnmower, so it's time for this one to get tuned up and get used. This drive gear that turns the steering has to come loose. Raise the steering rod up through the machine a little bit, just I assume by pulling up on the steering wheel, so that you can get the belt by it. It's got a lot of wear on that gear. If it'll go on upside down, I'm going to turn it over, give it a little extra wear. That belt was just about done. Hopefully the new one is the right size. That one's a little shorter. This one might be stretched out too. Going by the specifications that I got, this is supposed to be the right one, but we'll see. If it goes on, if it works, fine. If it doesn't, I'll go get a different one. Tractor Supply had the correct idler for the deck. So locally I could not find another idler wheel for this mower deck. So I'm going to grease it. Use one of these hypodermic type grease needles. Try to get in there without running the seal. And grease it. Maybe I can give it just a little more life until we can order one in from a John Deere. This particular needle is so big that it may not work for this. Let's see if it's getting grease in there. Oh yeah. It's getting grease in there. It's just not going to be clean and easy. It feels nice and smooth now. Rough as it was, it's hard to say how long it'll last, but maybe the rest of this summer. Blades are pretty beat up. I'll sharpen them up. See how they look. Another thing I picked up was this little balancing kit. If you don't balance those things, they'll vibrate like crazy. These blades are pretty beat up. Took my big grinder, kind of got them close, and then finished filing them with a hand file actually. They're not perfect by any means, but Just have to replace them. Right now they'll work fine. So the steering gear, I thought maybe I could turn it over, but it's made to where it goes in one way. Got a lot of wear on it. Just have to get on the John Deere site and order one in. Eventually this one will strip. I'll grease it up real good, which may not be the best thing to do. But get the front end so it moves freely. Right now the spindles on the thing are seized. I did grease them right before I put the tractor up on the motorcycle lift, and I'm probably going to have to take them apart. It's probably got rust on them or whatever. Clean them up, get them greased up and put them back in, make the thing steer right. Get that and the blades put back on it, the deck put back on it, and basically be ready to go, kind of. I am going to change oil on the engine. Doggone stick supervisor. So I got to looking at this deck before I put it in. This brake pad arm was bent and it was causing this arm to pull hard, which meant that it wasn't engaging the belts correctly. This was also bent a little bit. It wasn't bad. It wasn't binding anything up, but I straightened it. And then this arm here was bent up. So I'm glad I looked at it before I decided to put the deck back in. And maybe this will actually engage correctly now. We'll see. This deck is pretty worn. It's been welded up. It's got a crack weld right there. This one's been welded on. It's not cracked. And it's got some chicken welding in there. So I'm not sure. I think my welder's right over here. I think it'd be a good idea for me to just slip this on the wheelbarrow, run it over to the welder, see if I can't just kind of touch that up a little bit. So I grabbed my wheelbarrow to bring this deck over. Worked out pretty good. I'm right here next to my welder. But on the roadway over there, I was throwing a stick for the doggone stick supervisor. I noticed a big glob of grease. Seems like everything I touch, I have to fix. The bearing is completely out. I think the bracket is slid off to the side. That's what holds the bearings in on this thing. So, as soon as I get the deck fixed, I'll take the deck back over, get it off the wheelbarrow, and then put the wheelbarrow in the lineup to repair it. Put a little weld over all that chicken garbage they had on there. Cover up that crack. Should get us by the rest of the season. The deck is pretty much ready to go back in. We've got to tighten up this main drive pulley onto the crankshaft. Get the belt strung up there behind these belt guards, and then get everything hooked back up there. Then after this, I'm going to jack the front end of this thing up and take the spindles loose here. I tried greasing them, didn't seem to do much good. So I'm going to take the spindles loose and drop them out of the front axle, clean them up, grease them up, whatever they need, and get them so the wheels don't want to turn very well. So I'm going to do lawn work. You got to be able to turn the doggone thing. Doggone stick supervisor. That's the Piranha, Miss Pepper Piranha. She likes to play stick too. This is just pretty aggressive about it. This is the spindle that's actually seized up, and I found out the reason for it. They put these little plastic caps over the tops of those to keep moisture and dirt and stuff from getting down in there, and that one was missing on that side. So this side is fine. I'm not even going to take it apart because I already greased it. And this one, I took the keeper off over here and spraying some penetrating oil on it. Get a little more here. I'm going to work this back and forth and get it loosened up, and then if I can drop it down some I will. I'm not going to beat on it yet. If I do beat on it, I'll put a block of wood or something on the top of that so it doesn't mushroom it. But if it'll loosen up, then I'll just go ahead and grease the heck out of it until I get grease coming out everywhere. And then it should be good to go. So the mower deck is all back together now. I didn't try to record it and do everything at the same time, but I checked the belt tensioner on it. It tensions the belt like it's supposed to. That one should be good to go. It's got sharpened blades. I welded that crack up on that bracket on the back. which my weld probably isn't much better than the chicken weld that was on there, but hopefully it won't crack again. This mower has a lot of use on it, and so whatever use we get out of it from here on out is kind of bonus. It was given to me, so with a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, it's like I said, it may have been free. Nothing's truly free. I still had to go get it, load it up, and they're kind of heavy. But it runs good. I put a new battery in it. Oil has not been changed yet. Actually, the oil end is pretty clean. So I'm going to tell my daughter to go ahead and run it for a time or two, and then maybe have my youngest grandson change the oil on it later. I'll talk to them about that when we get it delivered up to her house here. The seat's got a little niche in it right there. I guess they've got repair kits now for those kind of seats. It's starting to crack pretty good. It's been in the sun too long. And doggone seats are kind of expensive, so if we can get a repair kit on it, maybe we can get some more use out of it. The deflector's kind of seen its better day. Actually might have one of those laying around. I'll have to go look. I had to change out the fuel pump. The old one was leaking. Happened to find this on an old golf cart we have over here, of course. That's after I ran all over the country looking for one. Runs good now. No leaks. And I got the hood off of it right now. A little bit of a crack right here. I'm going to take the Gorilla Glue. Try to glue that plastic back together. The instructions on the glue says apply to one side and the other side you wet with water. So that's what we're going to do. Whoops. Put this on here. And we're going to take a tool, try to get this thing to come back together without destroying it. Like that. Glue will bubble out, be kind of ugly, but all you have to do is just kind of trim that off. And I think it sets up fully in 24 to 48 hours or something like that.